All right, let's get right into it. Something huge is happening right now, kind of flying under the radar, inside the very warehouses that keep our economy humming. We're talking about a technological leap that, honestly, most experts thought was at least another decade away. But guess what? It's already here. And it all kicks off with this one number, 1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. 1 million robots are now officially working inside Amazon's fulfillment centers. That is a massive, massive milestone. It's like a huge line in the sand for automation, and we just blew right past it. But look, that giant number, it's actually not the real story here. The true revolution isn't just about how many robots there are, it's about what kind of robots they are. We are talking about a totally new kind of intelligence, one that can literally think for itself. And that, well, that changes everything about the nature of work. So here's what we're going to break down. First, the sheer scale of 1 million robot coworkers. Then, the huge shift from robots that follow orders to ones that think. We'll meet the new stars of the show, Proteus and Digit. We'll dive into the economics behind this massive change. And finally, we'll tackle the big one. Are these things replacing us or upskilling us? All right, first up, let's talk about that massive number, 1 million robots. You see, this isn't just Amazon buying more of the same old machines. No, this milestone is a turning point. It's the moment we shifted from basic, dumb automation to deploying something entirely new on a massive scale. It's called Agentic AI. Now, when you hear AI, you probably think of something like ChatGPT, right? Something that plays with words. This is not that. Agentic AI is physical. It takes in real-world data, what it sees with its cameras, what it senses, and it uses that to make its own decisions and to move. This is an AI with a body. And that right there gets us to the absolute core difference between the old robots and these new ones. It's the evolution from a simple follower to a real-time thinker. And trust me, the difference is night and day. Think about the old robots, those Kiva bots. They were basically just path followers. We had to keep them in cages, away from people, because all they could do was blindly follow a line on the floor. If a box fell in front of one, it just stopped, total brain freeze. But these new world perceivers, they're a whole different animal. They actually see their environment, they work right alongside humans, and they figure out how to get around obstacles all by themselves. So how in the world do they do that? Well, it's basically a three-step dance. First, it sees. It uses computer vision and LiDAR to map out everything. A person walking by, a box on the floor, you name it. Then it predicts. It actually anticipates where that person is going to be so it doesn't cause a bottleneck. And finally, it decides. Is the path blocked? No problem. It'll just reroute on its own or maybe even grab the package from a totally different shelf. It doesn't need to ask a human for help. Okay, so that's the theory. But what do these things actually look like on the warehouse floor? Well, let's meet the two new faces of this robot revolution. So over here, you've got Proteus. Think of it as the new workhorse. It's a heavy lifter for sure, but its real game-changing trick is that it can work safely right out in the open with people. No more cages. And then you've got Digit. This one is a humanoid robot, and it's designed to do exactly what it looks like, mimic human tasks. It can walk, bend down, pick up boxes. Basically, it moves like a person. Now, this kind of tech is not cheap. We're talking a multi-billion-dollar investment. So you gotta ask, why is Amazon pushing all its chips in on this right now? Well, the answer comes down to some pretty brutal economics. Really, it's a perfect storm of a few key things. First, US labor costs are soaring, and frankly, it's getting harder and harder to find people for these really tough physical jobs. At the exact same time, what do we want? We, the consumers, want everything delivered in like under an hour. There's just an insatiable demand. So for Amazon, the math is simple. Human workers have a physical limit. These robots don't. Their operating cost has actually dipped below minimum wage. They can work around the clock, and they handle the grueling tasks that often lead to human injuries. And all of that, it leads us to the trillion-dollar question, doesn't it? The one that really matters. What does this mean for the millions of people doing these jobs right now? Are they about to be replaced? Or will they be upskilled for the jobs of the future? Well, Amazon's official line is pretty optimistic. They say this technology is actually a net positive for jobs. Their argument is that while some roles might change, the robots create new categories of jobs. You know, things like robotics maintenance techs, data engineers, flow control specialists. These are higher skilled jobs that just didn't exist a few years ago. And that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? More high-tech jobs. But is that the full story? Does that optimistic view really capture what's happening to the current workforce? Because the counterargument from critics is, well, it's pretty stark. They say that for every one of those new specialized technician jobs it's created, you could see dozens of traditional picker and packer roles just become obsolete. The fear is that as these robots get better and better at doing human things, the need for that kind of human labor might just evaporate. And this really gets to the heart of it all. We're past the point of just debating what AI might do someday in theory, you know? This isn't about an AI writing a clever poem anymore. We are literally watching it physically pick, pack, and ship the goods that power the global economy. The physical debate is over. The physical reality has arrived. Look, this whole thing isn't just about Amazon. It's a wake-up call for all of us. The future of work didn't just knock on the door. It kicked it down, and it's already on the warehouse floor, clocking in for its shift. So the only real question left is, are we ready?